In our gospel reading, the servant was forgiven from his debt by the king when he begged for forgiveness. However, he in return did not forgive his fellow servant who owed him a much smaller amount. When it was reported to the king, he was enraged and handed him over to the torturers until he should pay back the whole debt. Sister Faustina said, "Forgiveness is mercy, a great act of mercy." Yes, indeed, but I believe it is not only an act of mercy to the person we forgive, but more so to ourselves. It takes humility to forgive others too. Humility enables us to learn from our imperfections, frailties, and weaknesses. It is also a serene acceptance of our own brokenness. The core of humility is the recognition that God is our Creator and loving Father. It is He who gives to all life and breath and everything else. In Him, we live and move and have our being. From the Acts chapter 17, verses 24 to 28. We are happy to be what we are. We do not have to put on airs, to bully or belittle others, abuse and lord it over them, as the servant did to his fellow servant, who owed him a smaller amount. As Paul asked from First letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 7, "Who confers any distinction on you? Name something you have that you have not received. If then you have received it, why are you boasting as if it were your own?" To forgive the person who has hurt us is usually very difficult, and we need to ask God's help. In prayer, we try to see those who hurt us in their own context at the time. Maybe they did the best they could with what they had. A man in his 40s forgave his father for never spending any time with him as a child. When he experienced in his own fatherhood the difficulty of finding time for his child. Often, we have to be some distance from the event and to have gotten our lives back on track before we can forgive. We may still feel some hurt after forgiving. Nevertheless, we have basically let go of our hostility. We need God's touch to soften our hearts so that we can forgive those who have hurt us. Forgiveness leads us to freedom, brings us peace and joy, because we choose God, not the adversary. Jesus said to Peter in the Gospel to forgive not 7 times, but 77 times. That is endlessly. Saint Augustine says, there are many kinds of alms, the giving of which helps to obtain pardon for our sins. But none is greater than that, by which we forgive from our heart a sin that someone has committed against us. To conclude, Corrie ten Boom, in a nutshell, fittingly summarizes our reflection of today. To forgive is to set the prisoner free, and to discover that prisoner is you and me.